Hello.
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Glad the Zoom gods are smiling upon us and I can hear you and see you. So that's always a good start.
Yeah.
Your week's been going well amidst all it's just been a crazy week. So hope you've been staying grounded in it all. Where are you located in the country?
I am in Houston, Texas. Well, Katy,
Oh,
Texas, right outside of Houston.
cool. Okay, I'm flying to Texas tomorrow. I'm going to Austin. I just moved from there. I'm flying back for the weekend,
Oh,
but yes. Love me some Texas. I'm in Colorado now and it's like it's true it's about to snow. There's
re-
like supposed to be a huge snowstorm today. So that's a nice welcome, I guess.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
but I'll
Still
be excited.
and whatever reason, and it's November, and so it's
I know.
still
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited to be in like 70-degree weather starting tomorrow. So that's good. But anyway, I'm a functional provider on the team, Don. I do a lot of the consults up front for our providers just to get a better sense of what specifically you're experiencing, what kind of made you want to jump on the call, what kind of help you're looking for at this point in time. And if it's something I find we can help with, then I'll walk you through more specifically how we would do that and what our approach is. And if not, just keep you pointed in the right direction and give you some resources that way. But consults generally run about an hour. Is that the time frame you have available?
Yes, I do. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, I want to turn it over to you. I know you're obviously here for a reason, so want to hear a little bit more about what that is, or if you do know you're looking for specifically, like in terms of health, then we can
Yeah.
start there and go from
Like,
there.
which it's been a problem for me these last few years, and it's just that I just want to be able to be healthier, of course, and lose weight. Uh,
Hmm.
I guess prior to having well, I have two children, so of course I had them a little bit later in life. They are 7 years apart, and so just finding the time to I'm always eating on the go. It may not be the right choice. It's something quick, because of course I'm leaving work and then running back and forth with kids,
Hmm.
and then of course this weight just continues to creep up on me. Maybe about 3 years ago, I didn't really have like a problem with weight as much because
Hmm.
I was traveling. I was in a different position, in my job. So I was traveling. I was on the go, moving around, and then of course the pandemic happens, right? And so we are home based. I am fully remote now. I'm in a different position than what I was in then, and
Okay.
this totally remote with some travel, but it's not a lot of movement. I'm in front of a computer
Yeah.
so many hours a day, and it's crazy. So sometimes I'm finding myself not eating at all, just having like a shake or something to drink quickly. Again, probably not the right choice of just like one of those little protein shake thingies. And so it's just been tough. So what was just recently eye opening for me was, of course, I had my physical right with my doctor. Didn't like what the scale said, and I usually don't get on the scale because, of course, it's devastating, right? So I get on the scale, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something, right? I've just turned 50 in September. It's like so hard, to just get get the jump start, right? It
Yeah, like all the pieces. Yeah.
Sure, I can just get out on the track, run,
Right.
habits, and just the weight just drops off. It's just I've tried like uh appetite suppress, just over the counter stuff, nothing professional,
Sure.
right? And I don't know if these things really work or it's in my head. So
Well, they didn't. I were here, so I get they did it. But outside it, you said like because I was looking at your application, so there were like when you said over the counter supplements, it was like weight loss suppressants, fat burners, stuff like that.
burners, I see something on Instagram, I'm ordering it, gummies and all
Okay. Okay.
things that probably don't really work, right?
Um,
Um, and then I just recently picked up something at Target that was, supposed to be like an appetite suppressant, supposed to be all natural. I don't know that it was working or not, So I have been taking that. It's like two little capsules a day. Um, And so I just recently, this past week, what was it? Actually Monday, I had to get my labs drawn for, my physical checkup and everything, check my cholesterol and all of my blood chemistries. And it was showing high, like pre-diabetic on my hemoglobin A1C.
Hmm.
So, oh no, so of course that's even more of a concern. I was like, I have to do something, but I want to do it in a healthy way, right? That's not going to, you know, that's truly going to help me and it doesn't harm me, as far as my health goes. Cause I know it's all related to my weight. Um,
Well, yes, it's a little chicken or the egg there, especially, and we can go into this a little more, but I have a question first. Like, what
okay.
directive did you get from your PCP when the numbers came back, like pre-diabetic, and like what was the directive from them?
Honestly, she has not called me just yet. Because you know how it goes to your mind charts. I'm getting the results before she even gets them. I work for a laboratory, so I kind of understand what I'm.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, but it's pre-diabetic. I know that because on my serum glucose it was 77, but of course I know the hemoglobin A1C is measured differently, right?
Mhm.
So if I don't do something, of course I'm heading not in the right direction, right?
Yeah, and I have a question
Okay.
because traditionally and functionally we look at ranges differently. So like 5.6 or 5.7, which is pre-diabetic in traditional medicine means something different functionally. Do you remember what that marker was for you for the A1C?
What the levels were?
For A1C specifically, yeah.
5.7.
5.7.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Because
the serum, like in the chemistries, it was 77 in the serum.
okay. Because, yeah, I mean, that's serious,
Yeah.
right? I know traditionally they'll say it's pre-diabetes range, but when we look at this functionally and look at the other symptoms that are going on, and I want to ask more questions, that is
Okay.
already past pre-diabetes. It's like this is where we need to treat it as like, pretty much type 2 at this point. We do that all day. We work with folks who are able to bring those points down significantly within 3 months. But
Okay.
big difference is we don't want you to wait for this to get any higher because it's already in a really problematic zone here.
Right.
But Dawn, I have a few other questions
Okay.
here. So what was the devastating number that you saw this past time at the doctor?
That was it. Like I had never, because for my prior years, hemoglobin A1C was 5.0, right? I've never had any issues with diabetes or any of that. High cholesterol, yes, but not, all of my other blood work has just been normal, other than, like I said, my cholesterol. So I compared it to I just checked it. I said, well, let me see what it was last year. I don't recall it being high or it flagging as high, right? And so it just that was alarming. That's enough for me because I don't want to, my parents are both diabetics. My mom doesn't take, hers is just controlled with diet and exercise. She's not even on any medications, but my dad has been on insulin for years,
Yeah.
right? Not as disciplined as my mom is, as far as diet and my mom's very petite, never had an issue with weight, you
Yeah.
know, it's like,
Yeah.
right. And here I am, like, what the heck, like,
Like whose genes did I get?
right. So,
I get it. Yeah, but no, I mean, I commend you for being like, okay, this is the time to kind of draw a line in the sand and
mhm,
get something done here because it's one that, have it being pre-diabetic or having that A1C is the root cause of a lot of weight loss resistance. And so it doesn't surprise me that despite what you're trying outside of this isn't working because it's not just like a diet issue or a movement issue, which I know has been a little iffy. Anyway, it's a real medical issue, right? And until we get to the root of that, and that's
mhm,
one piece of the puzzle here. But until we really get to the root of everything as to why metabolism is behaving the way it is, we're
okay.
going to stay stuck on that hamster wheel. But Don, what is your current weight?
I am 261. I just had my weight done on Monday when I did my, because we also, with my job, we do like a blueprint for wellness. So I have to do the biometrics and it was 261. So
Okay.
heaviest I've been all my life. Even pregnant,
Yeah.
I weigh less. So
Yeah.
it's just gotten out of control.
Yeah. And you like COVID happened, which I understand the remote work happened. And then on top of that, perimenopause is happening. And so things
Yeah.
change anyway.
Mm.
Um, but again, yeah, there's a couple different pieces happening here. But I think you wrote this 160 is kind of the ideal place you would like to be at with.
Yeah, that's what I weighed at my smallest weight, of course, 160. I liked that weight when I was that weight. And of course I looked to the eye, I appeared smaller than what I actually was. And I remember I was married then, I'm separated now, but you know, even my husband at the time, he's like, if you don't lose like another pound because you're just gonna be too thin. But I was like no problem with anything, and that was back back then I had had a lap band procedure done.
Oh, you did.
I,
Okay, I must have missed that. And I don't know if you.
yeah, so I don't know if I put that on there, but I had that done back then, and that's what helped me lose weight the first time. But I had gotten pregnant after, of course, both times is so crazy, and I guess it makes sense both because I have PCOS too.
Oh my
So
gosh, these are all such good clues for me. Okay,
okay,
this
I
makes
have
sense.
PCOS, and I've gotten pregnant twice when I lost weight. So my kids are 7 years apart. I have a freshman in college, and
Oh,
then 11-year-old. And both times I've gotten pregnant when, of course, I had this like dramatic like weight loss.
you got body in check, and then you get pregnant, and then okay.
Because they were, I remember when, we were trying to conceive, they told us you need help. And, I even saw a fertility specialist and none of that worked. They put me on like the pill form of the fertility meds, helped me produce the eggs and all this stuff. And I had never become pregnant on my own. And then I lost weight and got pregnant twice with no assistance, the regular
Not a
normal.
coincidence. It's all connected. Truly, it's all connected. Like one of the roots of PCOS
Hmm.
is a lot of times insulin and insulin resistance.
Okay.
And even though it might not have been flagged like through medical provider, because again, traditionally they look at things a little differently. Like
Okay.
you start losing weight because PCOS it like can be from sex hormones, but it's also insulin, but it's also a sex hormone imbalance,
Right.
right? So when those things get in check, the body becomes a safer place to conceive and all those things. And so it makes a lot of sense. The times you got pregnant was when those things were more regulated.
Right. Hmm.
But outside of weight, Dawn, talk to me a little bit more about other symptoms, that are affecting you day to day at this point.
Just sleeping habits aren't the best, right? I'm waking up, because of course I'm having these hot flashes. I'm sure that has to do with the menopause or
Yep.
perimenopause, what it is. It's like either I'm hot, I have to use the restroom, run into the bathroom, So
Hmm.
I get up, I kid you not, it's at 3 a.m.
Yep.
every morning,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get back to sleep, because it's like, what? Why am I up? Or I'm
Mm.
hot. So I've gotten used to that. I just take the blanket off, throw it back on, or do my bathroom run. And, I don't even try not to even open my eyes that much so I can just not like wake up. So I can just go back to bed when and so that's been tough. So, going to bed probably late because I just can't get off to sleep, it's just off.
Yeah.
And, just the anxiousness to, having that, being now a single parent,
Mm.
taking that on, having to get my child situated into college, it's just all these things, right? That, I had a child starting college and also one starting middle school,
Yeah.
just trying to navigate that and be everything to everyone, right? And so that causes a little, and I manage a team of 21 that sits across, for this entire Southwest region, for the company that I work. And so it's just, you know, I just
There's a
had,
lot of responsibility.
and right, like I should.
Yeah.
Uh, and I need to be around. My kids are young. They still need me to be. I want to be here.
Yeah.
It's. I don't want to be a diabetic. I don't want to have that illness, and I know it's all I need to be able to control my weight, and I don't know what else to do. Like
Yeah,
at the,
well, I'm glad you're here because you are so in our wheelhouse of who we work with to correct this, because otherwise it is kind of this perpetual, well, now you're on this medication to manage this, and it's not really getting to the root of the problem. And
Mhm.
there are really root causes here. And yeah, I mean, Dawn, it just sounds like one, you're I mean, you're such a provider. Like, I think it sounds like emotionally, just not even for just your kids, but work and all these things, and which is great. And I think you're here because you want to be able to keep doing that and being able to show up for them versus them having to take care of you. But also, I'm hearing there needs to finally be some time to prioritize yourself and your health.
Right,
Because your concern is on that, like, if things keep going,
right.
it,
It's not good, right? And I don't want that, right? And I know it's like, not even just rashly doing something, right? Like I've been giving this some thought. I've been looking at different websites. Yours just happened to pop up, just at the right time. But I'm like, I gotta do something. But I need help to
absolutely, no person should know how to put the pieces together on their own.
right,
Uh, because for you, like it is, like obviously the weight's gonna make a huge difference, but it is all these other things of, yes, when the scale, and I know it's not necessarily about a certain number on the scale. Like you could be 180, but clothes are fitting well and you're feeling
right.
good. Also, you're sleeping and you have energy and there's no body pain. Like, what difference is that gonna make for you? Like, what changes then, I guess, from how things are now, if that makes sense?
Well,
Um,
yeah, that would be great. Like I said, my ideal weight is 160, but like you said, if it was 180, I won't have like other brain fog. I don't even know if the fog is from menopause. It's so many different. Like I talk to friends that because we're all the same age, we're experiencing all these weird things. We're all like, where is this weight coming from? This used to be so much easier to get rid of. Like we're all kind of having the same types of you know
yeah,
challenges. I mean, if I could lose 20 pounds, I would probably be ecstatic.
I
Like
know, I
it
know.
probably wouldn't matter to me. Like I would be so elated to just be able to, like you said, clothes fitting better. I feel better. I have the energy. It's like I have no momentum at all. Like I aspire to do things like I bought this walking, like little treadmill thingy. It's still in the box. It's like I just have
Yeah,
no,
I know.
there's no,
Well, it's like totally human nature where you're like, I'm trying things and they're not working. So the incentive goes away to continue trying. You're like, why am I doing all this stuff? But you just need to get the pendulum swinging in the right direction. I
right,
always say it's really not a willpower issue. It's a hormone issue. They truly dictate how we experience life.
right.
We like
Mhm.
view it through the lens of where they are. And there's a few things certainly that are out of balance here. And so, yeah, like I said, I think you really fit into the wheelhouse of who we work with. And I can give you some reflections, and I don't say like any of this to scare you, but I'm happy to offer some feedback of like what I'm hearing and seeing through it. I mean, we already talked about the A1C. That is, I mean, it is a little chicken or the egg. It's like,
Okay.
is A1C rising because of the weight? But more so than not, it's the weight's rising because the A1C has been out of balance, right? And it makes all of those efforts, like I said, of even with the suppressants that you're taking, not really effective. But that's one piece of the puzzle. When it comes to balancing hormones in menopause and really setting you up for long-term health, it's looking at what are adrenals doing. You
Okay.
certainly have some, and I don't know if you've come across this in your research that you've been doing, but cortisol and adrenals are hugely important in when sleeping, being able to sleep through the night. That 3
Mhm.
a.m. wake time is very indicative of cortisol
Okay.
imbalance, our energy, and also that kind of like unusual overwhelm, anxiety. That's a lot from depleted cortisol as well. And the longer cortisol's in balance, the more it bleeds into other areas of hormones, like
Okay.
like sex hormones, like thyroid. PCOS in and of itself is certainly related to sex hormone imbalance. But even with like some of the joint pain and brain fog that you're feeling now, those are other indicators of that. And again, I don't say all this to scare you, but just to give you context of the moving pieces that we have to address. We can't just play whack-a-mole and say, okay, here's like a medication for the insulin, because we have to figure out what's continuing to feed the insulin to stay out of balance, right? And so those are the pieces we want to put together for you and give you the roadmap to not just do this temporarily, but keep yourself in a state of health long term. So you can show up in the way that you want to, as like the boss and mom and all of that you want to be.
Right.
Also for yourself, like it's yeah, like I know you said you're separated, and I always say like sorry, congratulations. I know it's like
Yeah.
bittersweet, but I assume this is an exciting new chapter for you in a lot of ways.
It is. And do like I said, me and him, I mean, we probably get along better now than we did. We just couldn't get the marriage down right together, right? But we're cordial. It's not a toxic situation. We have children, so we have to, co-parent and all that. I see him every day. I'm like, it's like we are still married, but we don't live together. But
That's funny.
of course, we have to work together, co-parent, drop offs, pickups, those things. He helps me out. He does most of the pickups majority of the week, and I have Fridays because he works for himself, so he's self-employed. So Fridays is busy for him. So I pick up my daughter from school on Fridays, but and I bring her every morning, but every day of the week he's picking her up from school, and so we have the one off to college, so she doesn't require much. She just needs money,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we're like her counselor. But like I said, this is and I want to be able to, if I find love again, I want to be the best me, right? To to bring into the situation, right? And whatever, whoever that may be. But I'm not even, I've been so focused on trying to, I need to focus on me. I haven't been able to do that, to even be able to explore other options of dating and all those things, because
sure.
I just need to get my own life together, just
Been
me.
treading water. You've been like treading water, trying to put the pieces together health wise, but like knowing that you could be in a position where you do like all those things came together and you found the pieces and you're feeling confident and you're
Right.
firing on all cylinders. Like, how good did that feel knowing that you were able to follow
Yeah.
through?
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
so like of even, before, there was never like, I don't even like taking pictures because I'm like, I can see it, of course, my kids, this is the age where everybody's like on the TikTok and
Yes.
my daughters always want to hop in pictures. I'm like, oh my God, just make sure it's the right angle, and she knows and has been very understanding. And she say, Mom, you look good. It's a good picture. See, and she'll show me and I'm like, oh yeah, it's good. But I'm always critical of it. Like,
Yeah.
even at work functions, we had a mint julep for one of our large clients, and it was over the summer. And I'm like, oh my God, the photographer. I just hope, I'm like my head, like, hope he like catches me at a good angle. And the pictures were actually nice. But I was dreading that
I
because,
know.
I never, have had to really like worry about that. I was heavier, but not to this point. And
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I know. And
Yeah.
it makes a difference. And like those are things, if we, pictures and moments we can't get back if we don't make it. And
Mhm.
so we want to put you in the position where you're excited to be in those and can have those memories to look back
Right.
on with
Right.
your kiddos or whoever and be proud and yeah, of like, yeah, what you were going to do. So I'm happy to walk you through how we would do this for you, because it is 100% possible and achievable. You just need a different lens to look at this through. And unfortunately, like what we do was created because Sarah like worked in traditional medicine for, 20 plus years, but was a woman who went through menopause. And she just came to this realization of like, we don't have the tool, like we're not taught how to interpret these things for women. We're not given the tools. And she figured it out for herself so we can help other women with it. But anyway, I just say that because I know we can find the roadmap for you. But the first place we would start, and our approach is very much a combo of functional and traditional medicine because of Sarah's
Okay.
background.
Okay.
But we start with lab work, and Yeah, we generally, the things we're looking for are different than what you would get during like a normal checkup because we're looking for very specific hormonal markers that make up the 5 or 6 imbalances that we've identified contribute to what you're experiencing, right? And we need to figure out where those are. So
Okay.
I know you work at a lab or like but generally we'll shoot you a lab slip with the markers and you can take that to any outpatient lab that
Okay.
insurance covers, or since you just got blood work, if you needed it covered, we could cover it too. Usually Quest Lab, LabCorp. Are you at one of those?
Yeah, I work for Quest Diagnostics, so
Oh.
my yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so yes, we would just set you up there, but once we have the blood results back, you meet with a provider from our side whose expertise is obviously putting these menopausal, hormonal, and metabolic pieces together.
Okay.
So they could walk you through exactly what we're seeing and what the corrective plan would be. Because I'll tell you, Don, like we have to stop the bleeding hormonally first until
Okay.
we can entertain long-term sustainable weight loss. Because if we don't get to the root cause of why the weight's coming on and not coming off,
Hmm.
and we're just going to stay on the hamster wheel. Like this isn't a diet and exercise problem. Yes, it could probably be better, but it's a
Right.
real medical issue. So that's
Oh,
where we start. So you can
okay.
start to feel relief. We stop the bleeding there. But I will say, as we're doing that over the course of 3 months, we give folks the option of also using weight loss medications in conjunction with this. So you
Okay.
can start to get more of those wins. Like you're feeling better, but you're also seeing the scale move. Uh,
Right.
and so a lot of these different incentives come back, but also you're feeling good. But we would never just prescribe the weight loss meds a la carte because of what I just said. Like we'd be setting you up for failure. We have to start with the hormone piece. But
Right.
it's very heavily supervised with the weight loss meds.
Okay.
We personalize the dose for you and it's temporary. We don't want you on this forever. We just
Hmm.
need to start moving, like get the needle moving, get you to like a good place where you're consistently losing 1 to 3 pounds week over week. And then we can, kind of get you out of it and hormones are balanced and you'll have a sustainable way to lose weight.
Right.
With the combo on average, I would say we see about 20, 25 pounds in 3 months, just to
Okay.
keep some context. So you're 20 pounds, like I'd be ecstatic. Like it
Yeah.
is very possible. Like that is not a stretch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Be realistic about it, right? I'm not expecting, like I said, if it was like 20 pounds over three, that would be great for me because it's just been a struggle. But I do have one question because
sure.
they had me like on a low estrogen birth control pill because of course the PCOS, just has my cycles crazy. And I try to, because I figured I was like, I don't know how do I know if I'm truly like going through menopause? And so my doctor's like, you'll have to come off of it, right? Um, and when I had come off of it, she wanted to draw some levels, but the bleeding was so, I was like, oh my God, I can't bleed for a month. That's crazy, So I just went back on the birth control pill. I said, well, we'll check in a couple of years, just leave it alone. But I just didn't know how, because of course the birth control pill is some form of
Of
hormone.
hormone. Yeah, we don't need you to,
In any way, like when I,
yeah. We don't just look at if things are high or low, like we're looking at specific ratios between
okay,
numbers. And so you don't have to be off birth control. Our providers will have to know you're on it so they can factor that into interpretation. You
okay,
don't need to be off of it.
right,
I will say the fact that there was a lot of bleeding off of it that points to sex hormone imbalance. So there's
oh,
something to see here,
yeah, okay,
you don't have
yeah,
to be off of it at all.
okay, yeah. It just went haywire. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to. I've dealt with that years and years.
No.
I was like, I don't want to go back there. I'm like, so I'll just go back on it. We'll come off of it in the next few years. I
Yeah.
probably should fully in menopause then, possibly, and then I'll deal with it then. But I'm
Yeah.
taking it day now because I have, 3 days and I'm done. And I've had both. I've had a tubal done, so I'm not having any more kids or any of that. And I'm 50, so no way. Um,
I mean, don't say that. There's been surprise
I
pregnancies.
mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I, I need a straight jacket. I
I
just,
know, I know, I know. My God, I'd be so tired.
yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I don't remember. I lost my train thought, but yeah, we don't need you to be off. Oh, I was gonna say, no, it's a great time also. Like, it just sounds like you had a bit of a rebound effect coming off of birth control, which is very normal after you've been on it for a while. But
So,
we also help women eventually, not now, you don't have to get off of it now, but we help
okay.
women get off of it safely too, so you don't experience that when the time comes.
Okay.
But this is where we start medically because nothing else is going to have the impact we need it to have. Like I said, like diet wise, exercise wise, all of that until we get this medical issue under control.
Okay.
But as we're working with you, we do also equip you with a personal nutritionist and health coach to put those pieces together.
Okay.
And from the nutrition side, generally we're working with women who are already eating pretty healthy, usually not eating enough. And you had said that before. You're like, I usually like I'm not even eating that much a lot, but still seeing the scale go up, which should tell you this isn't just calories out.
Right.
We're approaching nutrition from the lens of like how, based on your blood work and such, like how do we give your body what it needs so it actually feels safe to release weight? Because
Okay.
I'm not going to want to budge. You could be eating low calorie, you could be eating healthy, and yet still see the scale go up. And so we just need to figure out how we fill in those gaps. It's
Okay.
very personalized. It's not dogmatic of like you need to remove entire food groups, but
Mm-hmm.
our nutritionist will work with what your body needs and use tools appropriately, like mini eliminations if needed, detoxes, carb cycling. They're just going to go off what your body is, asking for.
Okay.
The movement part is also something we audit just because certain forms of movement can actually prolong hormone imbalance versus heal it. And we just want to make sure you're doing the most appropriate form and frequency for your body. Sometimes even like in the first month, we say, no, like let your body heal more. Like it's a mess. But we really want to audit that step by step so we can put you in a position where you're keeping muscle mass, losing weight, and healing hormones all at the same time.
Got
Um,
it.
and our health coaches a lot of times work on some mindset stuff just with consistency and accountability. We call them our hormone whisperers. They're just like hype women in the back, but also helping with some like neutralizing some relationship with food, getting out of the good food, bad food, like the food noise of it all, and just
Right.
helping get into out of fight or flight,
Okay.
as much as possible.
Okay.
But and those are the things that even after you're off weight loss meds, like you'll still know how to eat and move in a way that's like super supportive so it doesn't come back on. Uh,
Okay.
but it takes about 3 months for hormones to go through a rebalancing cycle.
Okay.
So we check your hormones again. Sorry, my mom is texting me. It's rude in the middle of talking. How did she get through them on Do Not Disturb? Um, sorry, I always find a way. But we retest your hormones at the end of 3 months so that we can see where your optimal levels are going, right? Like when you're sleeping through the night, when weight's coming off, where does your A1C feel best outside of this like generic normal? Because you could be on the high end or low end of normal and still experiencing weight loss resistance, not sleeping well. We just want to find where your optimals are so we can get you there, but you obviously have a reference point to stay there. And like I
Okay.
was saying, a lot of the work is done in these first 3 months. But
Mhm.
even after, like, if you want help coming off birth control, if you want to recheck labs once a year, get refills on like we're still there to fulfill that and be a partner with metabolic and hormone health. This isn't like a good luck out there. Thanks for coming.
Right.
Like
Okay.
menopause is going to be really fun for you.
Okay.
But yeah, we want to put you in a position where you have balanced hormones so you don't experience traditional menopause at all. Like
Okay.
that's, we want to keep you there. Uh,
Okay.
and so I'll pause. Like any questions about the process specifically?
No, I didn't even realize, when you start saying hormones and, I didn't even, I'm so caught up in, this weight. I don't even, I'm not even thinking that these other things could be contributing to it all, right? Just everything's just all out of whack, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know the last time I had any, like hormones, like really check other than the normal FSH, LH, the
Yeah.
thing they check. But when you're saying cortisol, I'm like, oh, I would have never, that's
Yeah.
why I don't help because I don't know what I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, it's
Yeah.
all. It,
It's what's the best way to explain it? It's like when you look at what's changed over the past few years, it's a lot of times it's not diet. I mean, it has a little bit. You've become more
yeah.
sedentary, but it really is the hormones that have changed, and it becomes less of like calories in, calories out, and more of just like how are hormones dictating how our body is treating calories is the
Right.
question we need to answer. Um, But yeah, any questions on any of that? No?
No, so, well, probably one. So if it's like once you all like, I know the first step is getting like my levels drawn, blood work, so you'll know what, I guess the course of plan of action for me, right?
Yeah.
But what does like, and you said a little bit of weight loss medicine, I guess, would be a part of that. So would I be on like what is the regimen? I guess is my question. Like
Yeah, it
what is
depends.
once you all know what what course or route to go for me.
Sure. No, that's a great question. And it depends on what your blood work shows, but just for example, it's usually a combination of some natural supplements, some pharmaceutical grade things,
Okay.
natural bioidentical hormones or pharmaceutical grade vitamin D. They're able to prescribe like thyroid meds if needed. And again, some natural supplement like tation for an
Yeah.
adaptogenic complex or cortisol. And then on the weight loss side, a lot of times it's a GLP-1 like semaglutide. We were working with tirzepatide. I'm not sure if they still are, but like semaglutide on the GLP-1 side.
Oh, you froze
Oh,
up.
am I
Oh,
back? Okay, yeah, we
okay.
both froze
I
for
was,
a second.
it was me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it looks like the connection went a little wonky. You can try, if you want, you can try turning your camera off
Okay.
because it looks like the connection is
Okay.
low, and sometimes that helps with bandwidth. But I think you can still hear me and see me, right? Let me see.
You
Hello?
go.
Oh, no, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I
Yeah.
think bandwidth is catching up now. So, um, but yeah, did you hear my response to that?
You stopped. Yeah, I did hear your response. You stopped at the different of is it semaglutide? I think is the last thing I heard.
Okay, yeah. So that's
But
the last thing I said. Um, so yeah, those are if that's like an example of a regimen that they'll kind of put together for you. So, the benefit of being a little traditional, a little functional is, if you go full functional, they don't have the ability to prescribe things. But obviously, traditionally, there's some things that are missed. So that's where we kind of bridge the gap of, if we need some more heavy hitters like pharmaceutically, we have that, but we really try to stay as like natural and holistic as possible at the same time.
okay. So do
Yeah.
you think so? Because you mentioned vitamin D, and I know that's a problem for a whole lot of people that um, I've been doing things on my own problem, and I'm on the right. I'm taking what I think is probably enough vitamin D. It's probably not. I don't know. Like I haven't had a vitamin D level drawn either. I don't
Yeah.
know blueprint. It hadn't come back yet, and that takes a couple of weeks. So I don't know what that's going to say. They run all the whole battery test on us for and they give us a little discount if on insurance
Oh,
you
yeah.
if we do well. So of course I had them. I've been I've been pregnant twice through the blueprint. So of course you can't help your
Oh,
way pregnant, right? And then I go, this past week because it was the last day. I've been trying to work on it. I always wait till the last day to go because I'm like, maybe I'll lose a few pounds, just in my own head, right? And so because they have to do your waist, your waistline. I dread it. But it is what it is. But
oh,
I'm like, I was just fed up. I reached out to you all. I was like, you know what? I've had enough. I have
yeah.
to,
Good. And
it's
that's what it takes sometimes. You just got to hit that place where you're like, it's time to do something because the change can happen fast, but you just have that first part is just being committed to making that change, right? And drawing a line in the sand and being like, enough.
yeah.
Uh, and just out of curiosity, from what we kind of went through, how does the process sound to you? Like, how does it feel or sound?
It sounds fine. You all won't, you'll be getting down to what the root of the problem is, right? What I'm thinking it may not be, right? Or it's a combination of things, right? And I'm only focusing on the weight gain. How do I lose it? I'm doing this. I'm changing because my eating habits probably aren't that bad. I like this morning, like because when I had I still somewhat eat as like I did when I had my band tightened, right? So of course I'm mindful of what it is. I do have some bad things, right? I love pizza, but that's in pasta, but I can not have those things, and it's not like I have to have it, right? I can
Yeah.
cut those out, and I have, and so it's like, I have my two egg whites and some fruit in the morning. It's like not a
Yeah.
or really not bad when I look at it. Right, dinner is
No, and
veggies and a piece of fish, right? It's not really bad.
like, yeah, why am I still 100 pounds over? You know what I mean? Like the math doesn't math, and
And
that's why we have to bring in this other piece. So I'm glad it sounds good. And just so I make sure I'm not like missing anything, and I understand where you are. Like, I guess if one was like this isn't a good fit, and 10 was I'm ready to go. I really feel like this is going to get me results. Like on that spectrum, where would you feel like you fall?
I'm probably midway because of course you have some apprehension because of course I haven't. This is my first time even seeking this type of help for it, other
Sure.
than a procedure, right? And so I'm probably midway. I just and not that I'm leaning against not, right? I'm more leaning towards, the higher side of the spectrum, right? In regards to wanting to do it or feeling comfortable with, you know, the course or plan, right? So it's just how you're not sure about something till you start, and it's like, okay, this is working. I'm feeling
Yeah.
confident about it,
Like, how do you know if the water's warm,
all right. And then not knowing, like I said, you don't know what you don't know. And, I'm this is you all's wheelhouse, so it's, helping, all to help me achieve.
Yeah, of course. And I guess from obviously you won't know until you're in it, but I guess in your opinion, from like what we broke down, do you
Mhm.
feel like it can start to move the needle with weight and be able to decrease like A1C and
Yeah.
increase energy? And
Yeah, yes, most definitely. Yeah.
because that's the most important part is
Right.
like, you know,
Correct.
you feel at least I know, like you said, you haven't done it, so how do you know? But that you at least feel like it can.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I don't know my director, and we talk about it all the time. She's on, I think it's I don't know if I'm saying it right. What regimen she's on? She's already doing something, and she looks great. Actually, she lives in Austin. And she's like, listen, you need to do it, but it wasn't the right time for me at that time. And I mean, she looks good, but I don't know that she's taken this approach because she's like, well, if she said I've tried to come off of it and I gained weight, so
Exactly. That's the
so
missing piece. If you
yeah, so I
yeah,
don't know if he's taking this approach. It's maybe just the weight loss med and nothing else. Because I'm 50, she's 55. So, hormonally, I don't know what she may have going on. And I don't know, and then we didn't get into that, but she's like,
yeah.
yeah, you do it, and I can give you the information. And I'm like, no, I said, I'll do it when I'm ready, but we always talk about it. So
Yeah, well, send her our way so we can
I
help her
will.
get through because that's a terrible cycle to be stuck in. But
Yeah.
John, I also want to show you we like this is just from our Facebook group and just to give you some context.
Okay.
Um, like I just remembered some people posting like semi recently about some of their results and
Hmm.
Kelly was someone when she started, ish in the spring, but she's 30 pounds down and within 5 months went from 6.0 to 5.1 with
Wow.
A1C. Um,
Wow.
and I mean, if we just like, we don't ask people to post these things, they just do. But I'm telling you, like with the right pieces in place, uh,
Yeah.
we see this a lot. And the A1C is really not an anomaly to us. I was working with a lawyer who came in pre-diabetic and left within 3 months down. I don't know if uh, I feel like Lori was another example, but she's 35 pounds
Yeah.
down.
Wow.
We just got to get the right pieces in
Yeah.
place. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like we're looking here, like Sandy's 56 pounds. And despite losing the weight, it's more also about like, who cares if you're skinny if you don't feel good? Like,
Right.
we
Right.
need people to feel good.
Mm.
I'm just clicking on random things here. Oh, she's just talking about her first thing with the nutritionist. But anyway, just
Yeah.
to give you some context, because I know this is new. Um,
Right.
but more on the logistics side of all this, like you meet with a medical provider once a month for
Okay.
3 months. You meet with your nutritionist once a month for 3 months, and they alternate. So it's kind of like every other week. And then your health coach, that hormone whisperer I was talking about, you're meeting with them weekly, and it's a brief check-in just to make sure you're moving in the right direction, you're responding well, seeing results, like dosages are correct, and if not, figuring out like what we need to modify. We're not waiting, weeks to be like, oh, you didn't lose anything. Like we want to
Mm.
know week by week so we can modify whatever we need to.
Okay.
Um, and you're in a group chat with your entire provider team from the time you start. So if things come up between appointments, they're super accessible there.
Okay.
And even before we get blood work back, you can start meeting with your health coach and nutritionist and just hit the ground running. Like you get started ASAP. Um,
Okay.
and so in terms of like once we get you enrolled, you get a few emails to activate in our system, get the lab form filled out. What is it? It's like 5 on East Coast now, so it'd probably be tomorrow they get you the lab slip. Um,
Okay.
but everything that we do is covered. So like I said, blood work can be covered if needed. I don't know if you like that would be necessary for you because of your perks.
Oh,
Um,
the blood work won't. You just if you send it in, they'll it. All of my lab work is covered at 100%. So it's
that
we
is,
don't. Yeah, we don't pay anything for labs at all. So
oh, well,
it's
that is a great perk.
yeah, the labs.
But everything else, like any supplements that we would prescribe, weight loss medications, which obviously like out of pocket, I don't know what your friend's paying, but they're, like anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,200 a month.
Okay.
Supplements are covered, bioidenticals or any hormone balancing things are covered as well. Which yeah, alone is like, even lab work can be up there. But anyway, all of the support for the 3 months too is 6,800.
Okay. Okay. So 6,800 and that covers the visits
Everything.
total. Okay. Okay. I'm just writing it down so I can. And so that do you like have a breakdown of what that will cover as far as
Yeah. Let me see. 1 second. Um, 1 second here. Let me see if I can find it.
okay.
1 second. Recent functional lab ranges. Comments? Oh, here we go. Yeah, let me share this with you real quick. I think this is it. Can you see my screen? What's on the thing that's on the screen?
Yeah, let me just make it a little bigger. Okay.
So this is like pretty detailed, but like the Spark Notes version is all of the supplements, hormone balancing meds, weight loss meds are covered. We could do blood work, but it sounds like we don't need to do that for you. And then all of the, onboarding appointments with the nutritionist, medical
Okay.
providers, the consultations, the follow-up visits, which come at like 4 times, the weekly check-ins with the coaches,
Okay.
the lab work interpretation, of course. And then, like I said, bioidentical hormones,
Mm.
injections, all of that is covered as well.
Okay. And so this is so how often is this like a one-time payment or how does this work? I guess is my
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
it's not like a pay per visit, so it's a one time.
Okay.
Most people will pay it up front and pay it off as needed.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have HSA or FSA?
What
Uh,
uh
a health spending account or
yeah,
flex?
I have FSA. Yeah.
So you can submit this for reimbursement through FSA for any portion as well.
Really? Okay.
Because we fall under traditional medicine. So you can, once you have the receipt, can, yeah, submit it for reimbursement.
Okay. Okay. What I was thinking about doing because I would like to just pay it like one time, right? I just need to be careful because what's happening right now, I'm in the process of selling my home and
Mm,
purchasing another in the next, like it's happening in the next 3 weeks.
mhm.
And I can't make any big, you know how that, during this
Yeah.
time, I can't really do any like big purchases right now. So I may have to wait until I close on my, because I'm going to closing in the next 2 weeks for the sale, and
Mhm.
on a closing for the home I'm actually building a home. So that one is gonna be, so a lot of things are happening too, which is crazy. I'm like, I've lost my mind. But um it's gonna be like the span of, I go to the second closing like right before the week before, I think it's the week before Christmas. So
That
eh,
is crazy timing.
yeah,
Well, Dawn, let me ask you this,
yes,
because I think when you're feeling momentum is the time to continue to take action, because everything that we talked about of where you are now and why you're not willing to be there would go out the window, right? And so I'm wondering if before like committing to the full thing, if
hmm,
you wanted to start with just the blood work piece and getting that done and having that initial appointment set up, like,
okay,
and we could start there. And it's much less. It's at 1,500, and then you can use it as a credit towards the remainder when you're ready to move forward. But it at least allows you to get the process started so
right,
you can keep going, right? And keep
okay.
the momentum of all this. Would that work for you?
Yeah, that would work for me. Let me
Let's
do, and at least I can get started, and then we can, you know, kind of move forward with the rest of it once that'll give me some time. At least you'll get the blood work back, because without that, you don't know what course.
exactly. And you don't want to delay it another 2 weeks when we could have spent the next 2 weeks like getting it done. And so
Right.
when time comes, we can hit the ground running, and then yeah, we'll just figure out how we want to fulfill the rest. But I think just getting the first pieces moving so we can hit the pillow tonight, knowing we're not going to be in the same position we have been for the last 4 years, will make a huge difference.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Awesome. I'm so thrilled for you. I'm so
Yeah,
excited for you to like have this care, and your friends will be like, "What did you do?"
I can just
So,
over to you all, right?
yeah, I know. Send them all over.
Right.
What's your zip code?
77449.
Okay. And whenever you're ready, I can take the card number, and then once that's processed, you'll get those initial forms that I was talking about, and first thing tomorrow,
Okay.
we'll set up with the lab slip.
Okay. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
This is it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 4492
Mm-hmm.
4800
Mm-hmm.
0160 9842.
Okay, and the expiration
Um, 0627
and security code.
923.
Okay, let's just make sure likes what I put in. One
Okay.
second. I think great. You are in. So the email that we have on file for you is dawnmarie0919 at Gmail.
Yes.
Okay, so just look for those emails there. And
Okay.
Dawn, congratulations and kudos for like taking the step and commitment that you said you wanted to. Like that's a really big deal, and this is going to change the trajectory of your health and your next year. So truly congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to call and talk through all of this and listen to me.
I mean, like it's missing from so many like medical environments, and it's like what a concept, you get listened to. But
Right.
I'm so happy to do it because I know what's on the changes that are on the other side of having these answers. So I can't wait for you to meet the team and
Okay.
get this first part done, and just so many exciting things for you, like with health and the house and all the things. So do
Gonna,
something to celebrate.
yeah, I'm gonna have a good start to my new year. So
Yes, you
yeah, so I'm definitely on, ready for everything that awaits me
Uh,
next few weeks. I have one other question. So for labs, do I have to have them drawn like in the morning? Like is it a certain time of the day? Like will
it's
they?
not certain time of the day, but they are fasted.
Okay, so I have to be fasting. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
For how many? To tell me how many hours or what do you like? How long do I? Is it?
Our the like fulfillment team might have a better answer than me. I don't know specific hours. I just know that I don't think there's a specific amount of time you have to be fasted. I would assume overnight is long enough, but that would
Okay,
be a question to just verify with them. But I don't think it's a specific necessarily amount of hours.
okay. And they will email me they'll be contacting me in the.
Yeah. Tomorrow they're probably going to try to like jump on the phone with you just to talk through some things and make sure everything is correct. But first, the like activate your account, fill out the lab form and agreement, and then once you do that, they'll be able to reach out with everything.
Okay. Okay. And I can expect that email today or
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, you should have it now. If you don't see it, definitely let me know. I'll shoot you a text so you can text me back. I mean, look in spam if you don't see it, but it should be in your inbox now.
Okay. Okay. I'll check. Okay.
All right,
All
Don. So happy for you.
right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.